Okay, so now that we're back, so I left off basically with a quick example of how I load things in the background. Alright, and the reason was this touches on a lot of things. Those auto loads. Helpers is an auto load. It's code that basically is all right here, a whole bunch of functions to help us get a bunch of things done. And one of the things it has is the background threaded loading. Back to my example. I also talk about settings in here, how we monitor a variable in settings. Currently, helpers background load result. That's super important to the way that I do things. That's why I highlight it. The reason is signals. Signals means that you only do something when a signal occurs. By doing that, the program isn't constantly pulling things. So previously, when I was using Godot, I did a lot of pulling, but I tried to get away from it because I quickly learned in Python how much better signaling something is. Basically, the difference is this. And in a lot of Godot Pro tutorials, they'll kind of teach you some pulling, which is not recommended from me. I'd go the signals route, definitely, speed-wise. Basically, there's the ready function, right? And then there's also a function that's called physics, and there's a couple other functions. In fact, if you start a new script, add a script here real quick with attach script, it's built in, and create. Just to do this, it creates the process function. That's what it is. It comments it out, but it's there. The process function basically is just every frame. So like it says, every frame is going to pass you the delta, and you process things there. And that's where a lot of people do their pulling. That pulling basically results in checking that variable every single frame. That's a bad idea. So I don't recommend doing that. Instead, my recommended technique is called signaling. And basically what happens is when another script somewhere changes the variable, in this case the helpers autoload, changes the variable helpers background load result. So updates it. Then the settings session reaches out to all the things that have monitored that code, and it plays that, it basically calls those functions in order. So there can be an unlimited number of subscribers, as we call them in programming terms, to that signal. And then they'll all get called in turn, and their functions will get executed, and it can update things based on that. That's how a lot of my code runs and why it runs fast. That does make it a little more complex. I'm sorry, but it does make it better. Makes it faster, more efficient. Let's see, I was going back, the container. And the container is a key part of that. And the reason the container is a key part of that, I'm going to go ahead and save that. It's no real change. The reason the container is a key part of that is basically it allows me to do that. Background loading, always having things operating, never freeze, basically Godot. Never freeze my UI. And that's something I despise in games. I despise when they go to a loading screen and then it freezes, or when it transitions from the loading screen to the menu, to the next menu, and it's frozen. I hate that. So I try to avoid that at all costs. And that's why a lot of my code is written the way it is. Stand by.